Crumbley, I'd like to talk to you about your vigilance as a parent. But before I do, I want to make sure that you understood the oath that you just took.
I do.
Okay, you understand that you took the stand under oath and you have to tell the truth?
I do.
You understand that was the rules yesterday as well?
Correct.
All right, we're going to come back to that. Now, you have been described by your attorney as a hyper-vigilant parent.
Correct.
Okay, do you agree with that?
I do.
In fact, you called yourself a helicopter parent before.
Yes, I was.
So you told us that you spent a lot of family time together.
We did.
Now, I'd like to talk to you about what your digital footprint shows.
Okay.
What the evidence on your phone shows.
Okay.
Now, it's true, you agree with me, that having horses is quite a time-consuming hobby.
It can be.
Okay? It was for you.
It can be.
And that's what you said yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. And you were at the barn for between 3 and 5 times a week?
More like 3 times a week.
3 times a week,
yeah,
for a couple hours a trip?
Correct.
Okay. It's also an expensive hobby.
It is.
So your banking records show that in the year of 2021, you spent over $20,000 on the horses. Is that correct?
Probably.
Okay. And that's not including cash. That's just from Capital One and Flagstar Bank.
Correct.
In fact, you told a coworker that half of your salary basically goes to the horses.
I might have, yes.
Now, except on rare occasion, you didn't bring your son with you to the barn.
He was not into horses. I would ask every time I went to the barn, but he didn't want to go.
So the answer was no?
No.
Okay. And at least as far as your horses being boarded with Kira Pennock from June of 2021 to November of 2021, your son never went with you. Is that correct?
I think he went once when my in-laws were in town and we met them at the barn.
Okay. But there was nothing stopping you from taking him?
No, he just didn't want to go.
Okay. It's a family atmosphere.
It can be.
Okay. Like the Halloween party that she had. That was for families.
Yeah, most of the kids there are young.
Okay. In the winters, you were on ski patrol as well?
Correct.
Okay. And that can be a bit of a time-consuming hobby?
It can be.
All right. And you would be on ski patrol between 1 and 2 times a week?
It's a total of 10 hours a week.
10 hours a week. Okay. So how many days?
I did doubles on Saturdays, so 1 day a week for me.
Okay. So you told this jury yesterday, you depicted your affair with Mr. Malash as a one time a week meet up at a Costco parking lot. Is that your testimony?
Correct.
Okay. But it wasn't just that, was it?
Nope.
Okay. In fact, there are numerous photographs sent to Mr. Malash.
Okay.
Yes or no?
I'm sure there was.
Okay. Numerous messages exchanged with him.
Correct.
And it wasn't just during the week, Monday through Friday, was it?
No.
No. In fact, that's what you said yesterday, but in fact, it included trips.
There were actual business trips that he met me on.
Okay. And it included other individuals.
Yes.
What's Adult Friend Finder?
It's where you can go on and meet people who meet certain tastes that you're looking for.
This is 429. And you had the app Adult Friend Finder on your phone.
I do not believe I had the app on my phone.
Okay, it was found on your phone.
Okay, well, I guess it was on my phone.
Okay, and there were messages from you to other individuals.
Correct.
Your Honor, I would object that this is going outside of the scope of the affair with Brian, but...
I don't think the court's ruling on opening the door was confined to just her extramarital affair with Brian Walsh.
Well, I guess with regard to Mr. Malash, I determined that the defense opened the door. I don't know that I determined that the defense opened the door as to other relationships.
She depicted herself as having one extramarital affair for about a 6-month period of time, where she met with him 1 time a week. That was her testimony yesterday. We have evidence to the contrary, and I think it's important.
This is going to get exciting.
All right,
It is what it is.
All right, well, go ahead. But
I won't delve too far
okay, yeah,
into it, Judge.
Really, this jury has been here a long time, and
I respect your time, Judge. I'll be brief.
You might not blush.
So, Mrs. Crumbley, I'm sorry, this is not a laughing matter. Mrs. Crumbley, on Adult Friend Finder, we see messages from you in at least of August of 2021, August the 4th, 2021.
Okay.
Okay, and you don't dispute August the 10th of 2021?
No.
August the 11th of 2021?
No.
And more importantly, November 21st, 2021.
No.
Okay? And more important than that, November the 28th, 2021.
No.
Okay, you don't dispute that evidence was found on your phone.
I don't dispute it.
Okay. And you don't dispute that it wasn't just you and Mr. Malash meeting after work hours. It was with you and Mr. Malash arranging with other individuals to meet after work as well.
No, I only met with Brian during work hours. The times that we were at the hotel, I was on business. We did arrange for other people to meet us there.
So Sunday, November the 28th. You remember that day? It was the day after you took your son to the shooting range.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember that day?
No.
2 days before the high school attack?
No, I don't remember what I did that day.
Okay. Well, you were pretty specific in what you did on November the 27th with the firearm. You remember that?
Correct.
All right. Now, on November the 28th, 2021, you spent your time arranging a meetup with somebody on Adult Friend Finder.
I never met anybody with an adult friend finder that day.
Arranging a meetup.
Oh, okay.
I'm not just talking about the time that you spent physically with somebody. I'm talking about the time that you spent and devoted your energy to setting that up.
Okay.
And you'll agree with me, it's not just the time period at the Costco parking lot or the time period at the hotel or the time period on the trip, correct?
That's the only time I met with people.
Right. But that's not the only time that you devoted your own personal time and energy and focus to that, is it?
I guess I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay. Well, these meetups didn't just happen by themselves. You had to set them up.
Correct.
You weren't driven there. You weren't dropped off there. You set them up with somebody else.
Correct.
And that took your time and your energy and your focus to do so.
I don't believe it took too much time and energy, no.
Now, you told this jury that when your son texted you that he was seeing demons and bowls flying off the shelves, that was in the spring of 2021. You recall that evidence, right?
Correct.
You don't dispute that was on your phone.
No.
You don't dispute that at some point you read those messages.
No.
And you don't dispute that your son said at least one time, "Can you please text me back?"
Correct.
Okay. You don't dispute that when you're at the barn, your other messages show that you can take pictures, send pictures, and receive pictures.
Usually I'm at the barn. If I take pictures and I try to send them, they don't go through right away, or I won't send them until I hit a spot where I actually have service.
So in Exhibit 423, the Facebook message chat between you and James, the chat that you did, there are a number of pictures that James sent to you from the barn of a horse in a conversation about that particular horse. Do you
Okay.
dispute that?
No.
Okay. And in fact, dozens and dozens of pictures of the like.
I'm sure, yes.
You're sure, okay. And those pictures were sent to you with a timestamp on that Facebook message chat.
Okay.
Do you dispute that?
No.
No. Okay. And then you responded in that same time frame. Do you dispute that?
No.
No. So that conversation with that picture that was taken at the barn was occurring while one of you were at the barn.
I'm sure it was.
Okay. Now, you don't deny that your son wrote in his journal that he asked his parents for help. You don't deny that evidence that was admitted.
No, I don't.
Okay. And you don't deny that he wrote in his journal that he now had access to the 6-hour 9mm handgun.
I do not deny that.
And you don't deny that the 6-hour 9mm handgun was in fact a murder weapon.
I don't deny that.
And you also don't deny that that gun was gifted by you and your husband to your son on November the 26th.
Describe gifted.
How about when you posted on Instagram his new Christmas gift?
Correct. And I explained yesterday that it was for him to use at the shooting range. We didn't just hand him a gun as a here you go, son. It was something he could use when we went to the range as a family together.
You don't deny that in April of 2021, you described your son as being depressed.
I didn't describe him as being depressed. I noticed that he was acting depressed.
You used the word depressed.
Yes, he was acting sad. He was acting depressed.
Okay. And you know what depressed means?
It means a lot of different things.
Well, to you, it meant depressed, and you wrote that.
Right.
You don't deny in April of 2021, the evidence shows, that your son told his only friend that he had asked you for help.
No, I don't deny that.
Okay. And you also don't deny that he told his only friend that you laughed at him.
I do not deny that.
Now, yesterday you told us that you took those messages in the spring of 2021, which, by the way, is at the same time you started your affair with Mr. Malash?
Around that time.
Okay. So in the spring of 2021, when you sent those messages, or when you received those messages, you indicated it was messing around.
It was.
It was messing around. In your mind, messing around. That's what your testimony was.
Yes.
Okay. Even when he said, can you please text me back?
I didn't see his text message, so I didn't text him back.
Even when your phone logs show missed calls?
Can you ask that again?
Even when your phone logs show missed calls from your son in that time period?
No.
Now, you said yesterday about these messing around texts. You agree with me that there's no indication in any text message, either between you and your son, or any Facebook message between you and your husband, in any of those exhibits, in fact, anywhere on your phone, that indicated that any of those messages were a joke?
No, there weren't.
There weren't. And we're talking about hundreds of messages between you and your son, and thousands of messages between you and your husband.
Correct.
And you don't deny that you never once took him to see a therapist or counselor?
No, I did not.
You did not. Now, you testified that, actually Mr. Moss testified, that you would meet during work hours, and we've established that it wasn't just confined to work hours, but you were permitted to leave as you please.
Correct.
Okay. And your boss actually testified that no problem if we needed time off.
Correct.
If you had a family issue, no problem, you can go.
Correct.
If you were sick, no problem, stay home.
Correct.
Okay? In fact, you could work from home on an as-needed basis.
Correct.
In fact, on November the 30th, you didn't even ask your boss if you could leave. You just told him you were leaving.
Correct.
And you told him when you were coming back.
Correct.
And you told him when you were coming back after receiving a phone call from the school asking for an immediate meeting.
Correct.
Because that was at, what, 5 a.m.?
Around that.
Okay. Now, had you ever been called... Have the TV on, please, Mrs. Williams. Had you ever been called...
It takes some time for all three of them.
Sure, Judge. I have a few more questions I can ask before we get to these.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever been called to the school on an immediate basis before?
No.
Have you ever been told that your son had suicidal ideation before?
I was never told he had suicidal ideation before.
Okay, that's your testimony. But you've never been called to the school once for a meeting, I need to see you now.
No.
Correct? Okay. So even before you had made it to the school, you had told your boss when you were coming back.
Correct.
So you had already put a limit on that meeting.
Not necessarily.
Well, you said, I'll be back in about an hour.
Okay.
Right? That's your words.
About an hour.
Okay, those were your words.
Correct.